Good evening. My name's Len Green. I'm at 1670 Edgewater Lane in Palatine. 20-year resident of the village, and my kids have been through this Baptist school system, which I think is something which is very good. Just by way of background, I'm a management consultant that spent most of my career helping organizations with performance improvement problems, both in the private industry and in higher education. So I have kind of a perspective of both sides of the fence, so to speak. And I'd just like to kind of mention to the board and to the audience here just a few reflections on what I see going on in terms of the challenges that face District 15. I think first of all, it's important to understand that the board and the administration has got a dual responsibility, and that is the mission to educate children, and secondly, the obligation to do that within the means provided to them. Those means are primarily property taxes. And just for a few data points, as I see it, if you look at Palatine alone, for example, there are about 65,000 people. There are about 12,000 kids in the school. There are about 800 teachers and about 900 other people in District 15 from the statistics that we have here. So, of that 65,000 people, exclude the kids. The rest, the vast majority, is going to represent, I think, quite easily the private sector, adults who work in there, as well as people who work in the school district and in other government departments. I don't need to recap for everybody what's gone on economically with the financial crisis since 2007 and 2008, but I think the previous speakers have mentioned, a couple of the challenges there. I think the comments that I have for the board and for everyone else, District 15 is a business, and why I say that is that it's not exempt from the natural laws of economics. And by that I mean you have to manage within your means. If expenses exceed income, you have to stop doing what you are doing so that you can rectify things. And I think the board has done a great thing in terms of identifying the need to address the budget deficit and bring those expenses in. To that point, I think with everything else going on, uncertainty about school funding, the board can only really focus on, and the administration can help them on, what I call cost management. I think it's fair to say that taxpayers in the District 15 area really don't have the capacity or the appetite to contribute more taxes right now. I think based on the overall economic situation and the hardships that people have faced, it's not feasible to expect much by way of revenue increase. And that's why I would say cost management becomes key. I also looked at the proposals that came up today about saving costs, about 3.1 million in indirect expenses and about 2.9 million in personnel costs. And I thought that there were two sides or two options to this equation. What was offered up there was the loss of jobs of some 30 teachers and about 1.2 million in income to program assistants. Now what struck me there is that that's 30 teachers plus all those PAs who suffer a 100% loss in salary. That's, to my mind, a terrible thing. If we looked at that 2.9 million in savings and said if that was shared equally across the entire workforce, that would probably represent something like a 2 to 3% pay adjustment. And somehow that seems to me to be more equitable for all stakeholders. First of all, those 30 people, 30 teachers and the program assistants would also lose 2 to 3% of their income instead of 100%. Secondly, the impact on the students would be eliminated because the class sizes would stay without those adjustments. And an avoidance of increased class sizes, I think, is to be admired and pursued for everybody. And thirdly, the programs that would suffer in terms of reduction, for example, like music, etc., would continue. So the concerns that parents have about the quality of education, the concerns that people have about retaining their jobs, would somehow be saved. And I really do think that that's something that, although it hasn't been spoken about right now, is on everybody's mind, quite honestly. On everybody's mind. I think everyone knows that there's going to have to be some consideration of that. And I think it's good to air it and discuss it and take it forward from there. So in conclusion, I would just urge the board, the CT EDC, the teachers, the administration, and all the taxpayers of this district to look at this in a level-headed, rational way and say what steps can we take now that are less severe than the steps that would have to be taken in the future if wrong decisions are made. Thank you.